Hello, everybody, and welcome to Letterboxd.
That's what you
I'm
get.
starting again.
That's instant karma for trying to be a smartass.
Bingo bango. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Letterboxd Book Club. I am Claire,
And my name is Mackenzie.
and today we will be discussing the TikTok sensation and the #1 Sunday Times bestseller, Divine Rivals,
By Rebecca Ross.
which I keep getting confused with Rebecca Yarros.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had to triple check just to make sure. Although I must say, 2024 is going to be the year of the Rebeccas, by the sounds of it.
Every time I was reading about the book and I saw Rebecca Ross, I was thinking to myself, why is that name so familiar? But it's
Yes.
because I keep seeing Rebecca Yarros everywhere.
Just drop the ya, and there it is.
Yes. Alright, and for the first time in a long time, I actually have a physical copy of the book. Thank you, Claire.
No worries.
So I will read the blurb.
A proper blurb. Yeah, the first proper blurb in forever.
Yes. I'll read the little thing on the front as well, because that's cute.
You have full creative license and liberty to do whatever you want, Kenzie. Are we choking as well?
No, I had some burp stuck in my chest. I was a bit gassy. No God, no war, no one can come between them. Alright. When two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell, together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. Expelled into the middle of a mystical war, magical typewriters in tow, can Iris Winnow and Roman Kitt's unlikely bond withstand the fight for the fate of mankind and, most importantly, love?
Oh, that was it. That was so short.
Yeah, that's
I was
it.
so excited.
I didn't know if I should read the, Sunday Times bestseller Rebecca Ross begins a sparkling new duology with Divine Rivals, an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. Thoughts, feelings, emotions.
First you bamboozle me with the intro.
I'm happy to
now
go
this.
first.
No, it's
I'm happy to go first.
Alright, go first.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I love this.
and everyone else in between. Once again, I have read a book in 2024 that I have zero qualms with. Zero
Yay.
qualms. 5 stars. 5,000 stars all the way. Alright, first off, I must throw myself under the bus.
Ooh.
Because first of all, I'd seen this title floating around the bookosphere over the TikToks and the Instagrams and everything. And I saw it was a bookstore TikTok account, and I think it was in America anyway, and they went and asked someone, what book do you recommend, blah, 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 like, what's your favourite read? And it was an older woman, and she recommended Divine Rivals, but she just said, World War One vibes, typewriters, letters, and so we also know that I notoriously do not read blurbs. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that this was about gods and magic. So you should have seen my face when I got bamboozled by the magic and the gods. I'll continue. Hang on.
Yeah, it's okay. That was funny. You were messaging
Need a
me.
little sip. Hang on. A little ASMR.
I personally could not hear it, but I'll...
It showed up on my waves.
Your
so-
wave, yep. I'll gladly
Yeah.
look out for it when I'm edit.
Thank you. I loved this book. I think it's so fluffy, but a little bit serious, and it's super cute, and the love is so innocent and sort of slow burn, but at an acceptable pace for me. And then also just the addition of magic as well really gets me jiving.
You were
And jazzed.
Yeah.
I was jazzed. And jazzed. We all know how we feel about gods at this point, but you know what? That's fine. I can ignore it. It's fine. Whatever. Magical typewriters. I love typewriters. I love writing letters.
Just like the
Letters, my
aesthetic.
jam. Yeah, the aesthetic. Ugh, I love unrequited love. Ugh, a sacrifice. This is a found family. This book is amazing. I will sing its praises till the end of my days.
Yeah, you were very enthusiastic about it. Alrighty. Are you done?
I'm done.
Alright, my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I loved this book as well. I was enthralled. I was captured into the story. I loved the magic system and, the god story, and, their conflict isn't as overwhelming as other big fantasy books. I do like that this sort of, I don't know what era you would call it, I'm getting like 1930s vibes, but if it's World War One, then it's obviously like 1918.
Well, yeah, I'm getting like
ish
World War
vibes.
One vibes because trenches.
Yeah, well, that's very fair, but I'm sure there are trenches and other wars too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, getting that vibe, just the relationship as well. Yes, appropriately paced, I would say. Yeah, I just really enjoyed a different take on magic, and it's not about, and these people, like the humans don't have magic as far as we're aware, and I just love that little switcheroo because in every sort of fantasy series, everyone is magical in some capacity, and it's hard to keep up with, or it's hard to see how it can balance out, etc. But no,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I only have one qualm though, but it's just a me thing, I think. I'll just reveal it really quickly. I just don't like when, I don't know, when there's like a communications between, I'll use obviously Iris and Roman as the example, where, you know, Iris doesn't know who she's talking to, but then Roman knows who he's talking to, and he like holds on to this. I just don't like that it's always the man that always figures out early that
Yeah.
it's our female protagonist, and I don't know, that just annoys me. I'm like, why can't we just figure it out as we go along, have it actually two separate entities? But anyway, no, loved it. Very easy, like it's an easy following along the story, and yeah, very interesting. Some may say it's a bit predictable, but I just think it was just well built up. It's not meant to super surprise you. I'm sure
Yeah.
Rebecca is not meant to try and outsmart us in any way. It's just a lovely story.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be super serious, you know?
No. And I love the incorporation of the letter writing to each other as a tool to develop their relationship, much like a song is in a musical to progress the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed every aspect of it. And that's it.
Let us begin with Iris, our female protagonist, if we will. Iris is a 19-year-old girl. The war is imminent. Her older brother Forrest has enlisted. He goes off to war. She doesn't hear from him for a very long time. Her mother falls into alcoholism, depression, blah, 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 all of the things. Iris drops out of school, goes and works for one of the newspapers in Oath. She goes and works for the Oath Gazette. Then her rival, the male protagonist, Roman C. Kit, Roman condescending Kit, Roman convoluted Kit, is, I think he's 21.
He's 19.
Oh, he's 19 as well?
Yeah. I think she's 18, he's 19.
Oh, one of them was 19. Anyway, he works at the Oath Gazette as well. He comes, and Iris comes from very lower class family. Roman comes from very upper class. He had a sister, she died. It wasn't his fault, but they were swimming, and he fell asleep and she drowned. So take that for what you will.
It was
Little bit of
his
guilt
fault. How
thrown in
dare
there.
he, little asshole.
Yeah. His father is trying to arrange a marriage with him, and one of his friend's daughters, and they both obviously are in love with other people. So, Iris has a typewriter. She's typing these letters to her brother, blah, 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 blah. She types a letter, slips it into her wardrobe, and then it goes away. And she just hasn't heard from Forrest in a long time, and then finally she receives a letter back in her wardrobe that says, "This isn't Forrest."
And for the longest time, she thought it was a magical wardrobe.
Yes, taking her letters to Forrest.
Yep. And he was just seemingly unable to respond.
But Roman also has a typewriter. We find out that there are 3 typewriters. They are Alouette typewriters because they were made for someone Alouette. It was her and her 2 friends so that they could always communicate, because whoever Alouette, I can't remember her first name, she got sick and she wasn't able to go and visit her friends, but this was a way that they all could keep in touch. So there was Alouette, and then one of her friends was Roman's grandmother, and then another one of her friends was Iris's grandmother, so they have both inherited the enchanted typewriters. Iris and Roman are both in competition to win a columnist role at the Oath Gazette, which is a very coveted role. I'm sure it pays more, whatever.
Sure, yep.
Yep. There are little hints as well, like we don't fully kind of get Iris's situation until a little bit in, but there are little hints, her friend will ask her if she wants to go to lunch and she says, I'm not hungry, blah, blah, blah. Or she wears her mother's boots that are slightly too small for her.
Too small.
Yeah. So she gets blisters, and it's Julpov. Third person, but Julpov.
I was just going to correct you, but then, yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
third person dual plop. And then, yeah, Roman sometimes notices, oh, it looks like she has a little bit of a limp today. I wonder why. Or, oh, it seems as if she didn't catch the tram in that she must have walked to work. So,
or she's late constantly for some reason. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, their stories are very similar in that both they're navigating their own like grievances and their own personal situations and stuff.
So they are writing to each other. Obviously, they don't know who... Well, Roman knows that it's Iris. He has figured it out from just things that she said about her brother enlisting in war and things like that.
I think he just recognises how she writes as well, because I think he even said to her face as like a lie that he's never read anything of hers, but in secret he has read everything of hers.
Yeah, he has read every single letter and every single article that she's written as well. Oh, also, at the Oath Gazette, Iris is sort of just stuck on the obituaries, just typing them up instead of actual articles while they're in this competition from their boss, Zeb Autry, to become columnist. However, Iris implies as well to Roman that he will get it because his father will just pay for him to get the role.
Yeah, it's weird. It's funny. It's like a double-edged sword sort of narrative because yes, I keep wanting to call him Kit, and I know his first name is Roman. Roman.
They refer to each other by their last name, so if we say Kit or if we say Winnow, then
that also annoyed me so much. I'm sick of everyone using the last name nicknames. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't have that rapport with these characters, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Roman comes from a line of high society, upper class, prestige, and of course there is that presumption that daddy will buy his son's way into all his positions, whereas in the opposite effect, Roman implied that Iris is only being considered out of pity because of she lives in a more impoverished kind of state, low class state, and and he indirectly claimed that was the case in front of her, and she got really upset with that, which was fair enough. But yeah, they both have their own ideas about each other and kind of who deserves this role more. But yeah, ultimately it just comes down to the writing style and who has what it takes, I guess.
So Roman's father arranges this marriage for him with this other girl. And then from that point on, he's being watched by his father because Roman's like, I don't want to marry her. This is only for you. Her father. Oh, and also we haven't even spoken about the gods
That's
yet.
Alright. I was waiting for that. It's okay.
The gods that are warring are Enver and Dacre, and so there are obviously Dacre sympathizers and Enver sympathizers. Enver is kind of like a goddess of like music and love and light and blah blah blah. So music is kind of frowned upon, and Dacre is
it's like
man.
It's weird.
Patriarchy.
No, he's described as like an underling god, but he was also affiliated with like fertility and healing.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, this god setup, because it's really giving kind of like our own religious take on God, like a god above and a god below. Like you'll go either way when you die, etc. So it gave me really that sort of vibe.
Yeah. And yeah, he can heal. So, and that comes into play later on.
Yeah. And I loved with the gods, now that we're talking about them, their conflict got very simplified, which is excellent because oftentimes in these big fantasy books you have authors trying to dish out hundreds or thousands of years of history and war and conflict between 20 different gods and all that type of stuff, and it's just far too much. But I loved how Rebecca just simpled it down, made it so far about these two main gods, Enver and Dacre, and then what happened to lead to this situation to lead to this war that's happening right now. Yeah, it's great, it's simplified, easy to follow along. And then it makes you think, well, how can people be like a Dacre sympathizer considering he in a way instigated all of this? But then it goes to show that or Rebecca highlighted in this book as well, just the years of like how myths or stories are being passed down and details either omitted or just long forgotten, and people know different things or have the completely right or wrong information about each god. And yeah, it's just really interesting how it's all like simplified and easy to follow along.
Yeah. So yeah, which leads me back to this arranged marriage. The daughter's father and that entire family are Dacre sympathizers. It's not explicitly said to us, but it is heavily implied. And the daughter's father is a scientist or whatever, and they're delivering these boxes of a silver
canisters.
And Roman assumes that they're bombs, but they come into play later on, which I also figured that they were going to be gas bombs.
You know what? Yeah, this actually does make it more World War One. I sound so stupid. It's giving me 1930s vibes. Now it's World War One. Fucking hell.
Anyway.
It's alright.
So Iris's mother dies. Shock horror. Whatever. She's a drunk. Yeah, hits by a tram. What a way to go.
Plot device, though?
Yes. Manic pixie dream mum, if you will.
Gives Iris nothing else to really, no reason to really be an Oath and no purpose.
Oh, and also whilst this war is going on, it hasn't hit Oath yet, but there's a chancellor of the city, and he's kind of on that cusp of kind of monitoring and banning and redacting what articles are being put out against the war, and about the war. So the Oath Gazette is kind of like skirting around what's actually happening. And then there's another paper establishment called the Ink-Ridden Tribune, and they are putting out accurate articles and what's actually happening, and they're sending people to the front. So Iris's mother dies. She doesn't tell anyone, so she's late to work a few times. And then her boss is like, what the fuck is going on? And Iris just secretly types up an obituary for her mother, and then that goes in the paper, and Roman reads it. And so they're called into the office or whatever, and he's like, Roman, you get columnist because Iris, where the fuck have you been? What is going on with you? Roman goes, yo, we need another chance because Iris's mother died. And Zeb Aldrich is like, oh, you should have taken time off, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, I don't want your sympathy. Whatever. I'm over it. It's fine. And she goes, you know what? I don't want another chance. I quit.
I love that. Just on the spot. I've got nothing else to live for here anymore.
Yeah.
And while at the same time, the Ink-Ridden Tribune is wanting to hire war correspondent reporters as well.
To go to the front,
She wants to write articles about things that matter, and she believes this war matters. And because they've also heard soldiers have been going missing, and she's also aware that her brother has not made correspondence with her, like, this is what matters to her in this moment, and she is going to go and chase this story.
So she goes to the Ink-Ridden Tribune. She goes in, she's like, I'm here to apply for the job of correspondent. Helena says, why do you want to go? And she says her brother's at war, and Helena's like, that's not a good enough reason. And then she goes into I want to write what matters, I want to make a difference, blah, blah, blah. Helena goes, okay, take your typewriter, here's a jumpsuit, you're on the next train, it leaves in half an hour, and here's your contact.
Off you go.
Yeah, you're hired on the spot.
Yeah, well, they're desperate for war correspondence, and if a young strapping lass wants to go and write, like, who's really going to stop her?
The story begins here, really. Like, it picks up its pace. We're through the prologue, if you will.
Yeah, I think this book is technically 3 parts.
It has 3 parts, yeah.
Yeah, so this was pretty much part 1, act 1, in a nutshell.
This was Letters Through the Wardrobe.
I think is that not the chapter title? Or is that the part title?
Part 1.
Oh, I see. Okay, I love that.
And then part 2 is News from Afar.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. I understand now.
So, Iris is gone to Avalon Bluff. She also meets Thea Atwood, who goes by Addie. And their contact is Marisol in Avalon Bluff. She runs a B&B. She's to put them up. They have to help and write, but they get board and food.
They're neutral positions in this war. So they're only there to report and obviously not become as involved as they should have been in the last act of the book, but whatever.
Yes, they have badges on their jumpsuits that say that they are correspondent, so theoretically they shouldn't be harmed, but...
Yeah, but who knows? The ruthlessness of Dacre would probably seem, unpredictable.
They learn that, the war is pretty closer than they imagined, and it's a lot more brutal. There's 3 different sirens that can go off in Avalon Bluff because there are hounds that come out at night. There are ethereals, which are essentially wyverns, that come out during the day and they drop bombs. And then there's also just an alarm to evacuate. So it all becomes very scary very fast. All this time, Iris is writing to Carver, and she says, by the way, I'm not in Oath anymore. I'm 600 kilometers from Oath. And he types back, 600 kilometers from Oath? And then, I know they're typing for a little bit or whatever, and then he says, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be able to write to you for a while because I'm leaving Oath, blah, blah, blah. Next minute, Roman Kit arrives, walking through the tall grass to Iris. Is it not at this point that you figure it out? I think it was hinted at that she sort of maybe had an inkling that it was Roman.
Yeah,
but...
I don't know. It's too big of a coincidence. Loverboy stopped typing, and yet Roman arrives. Yeah. But I just want to go talk about, like, Dacre's creatures for a second as well.
Oh, yes.
I feel like it's so cool that we have the implementation of these fantasy beasts like wyverns, and they're the only way they can really terrorize this town, or they can terrorize the warscape, is by dropping man-made bombs. And I just also love just the integration of human-made weapons as well, like just guns and all that stuff. Like, guns against magic, it's like, what the fuck? And ultimately, Dacre is searching for Enver, and that's why he's essentially conquering this whole area, because, he's just trying to find her because she bamboozled him.
Yeah.
And seemingly wants revenge.
Yes. Which, I don't know, feels like a weak reason, Dacre, but anyway. Like, let it go.
But maybe it gets better. And also, Carver / Roman / Kit helped Iris out by finding old myths that his grandmother had, so it could help with her article about, why the war is the way it is and the history behind it, or given the context. Yeah, I just love how, like, this book shows elements of, like, what could happen in real life, like newspaper or media censorship, like who's in control of what, etc. It's just excellent.
So then Iris is battling these feelings of conflict because she's also kind of falling in love with Roman, but she's also falling in love with Carver. There is a very enchanting moment where Atty and Iris are sitting on the roof of the B&B. Roman is typing, and Iris assumes that he's typing an article, and he asks, what's another word for this? And she says, divine, and then enchanted, and then another word or whatever, and then eventually there's a letter that he writes to her confessing his love, and it has these words in it, and then that's when she figures out who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's they each get a chance to go to the front.
Yep.
And Iris volunteers to go, and Roman says, "You're not going if I'm not coming with you." So they go together, and they're taking the letter where he has all these words and is confessing his love to her, and she's trying to read it by candlelight, essentially, or lantern light every night in the trenches. And Roman throws stuff at her, and she gets distracted because he is thinking this is not the place for her to read who I am.
fair enough. Yeah, not the time or the place.
Yes. Marisol Gay Rights has a wife, which we love. And then I was very worried about Bury Your Gays.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just very sus about Marisol, because anytime
her wife was brought up.
No. Oh, that too. Every time Iris was like, oh, my brother is fighting in the war, and then she would be like, for Enver, and then no other person would kind of clarify, or every other character who says they've had someone in the war, they don't declare who they're fighting for. And so it was very sussy that Marisol didn't reveal that, or the way she reacted. It's I don't know, she had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to when Iris said it, but that just could be because she said who Forrest was fighting for out loud, and you don't know who you can trust because of these Dacre sympathizers. And then I was also worried about Keegan as well. Yes,
Keegan, Marisol's wife. So anyway, they're in the trenches. There's a big attack. They both get injured. Roman's leg gets severely injured. It's very a la Peter in the first Hunger Games.
Oh, yes.
Lucky Roman didn't lose his leg. It's fine. And then while he is in the infirmary, Iris reads the rest of the letter, finds out who it is. She goes and is very angry at him.
Fair.
Doesn't want to talk to him. Yep. Goes back home. In 2 days, reconciles that I'm in love with him. Whatever. It's great.
Did you think any of that was a bit too quickly or too drawn out? I know it's...
No, because it's in war. It's war times, Claire.
It's war. you got to back it up. Yeah. I mean, they actually did say something like that.
Literally every day could be your last day, so I get it. And I'm sure this could be, and I assume that this is a big qualm for a lot of people is that they are very young and that their love story is very rushed, but it is war times.
But then that's where I would politely argue that the letters are the tool to
exactly
to navigate
essentially
that.
they have been talking for months before this.
And I don't even recall what the timeline is, whether it's like a couple months, but yeah.
So whatever it is, while they're at the front, there is 6 months on top of that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's how long she had been riding, well, since Forrest enlisted.
Oh, yep, that's right. Fair.
Okay, it was also at this point where Iris is sort of asking around, I need to find out where my brother is, and then she gets in contact with all these people who then get in contact with all these other people and saying, oh, his platoon, he got moved to a different platoon, blah, blah, blah. It is at this point that I messaged you. And I said, I am scared that her brother is working for Dacre.
Yes, it was very sussy because no one seemed to know anything. And the fact that he wasn't writing back at all was already suspicious to me. Because he promised he'd write. But then again, Iris broke her promises by not staying in school, so...
Exactly. But, I mean, staying in school versus fighting for the villain.
Alright. Oh, just quickly, before we even move on from this, like, I liked Attie as a character as well. She was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
She's a good friend to Iris.
Yep. Do you think she deserves a love interest?
Attie? Sure, yeah. I think...
Hold on to your bonnets, then!
Kenzie, no, shut up. I know you're like 10 chapters in the second book. Oh.
I'm more than that now. I'm in part 2 of the second book.
Jesus Christ.
Back to Iris and Roman?
Sure.
Okay. So, she figures it out, blah, blah. The next day, she's in the garden. Whatever. No, she's not. That's a lie. She goes to his room because he's back from the hospital. And she asks Roman if he'd like to go for a little walkie walk. And he says yes. And then they're just chatting and talking about everything. And then he tries to get down on one knee and ask her to marry him.
Yeah, yes. Very lovely. Very, again, quick. But it is the war times, so we forgive.
Yes. I don't know, something happens, they don't do that. But anyway, the next day he asks her in the garden because there's this big theme around how Marisol tries to keep the garden intact and blooming and green and watered because Keegan used to do it. So that's her love language.
And I think Marisol had never planted a garden in her life, and that's like a little joke that, you know, Marisol was able to maintain this while Keegan's been away. It's cute, it's fun.
There's something really beautiful about flowers and gardens blooming in adversity. So
yeah, absolutely. There's routine, normality, there's hope, there's preciousness, there's love and care and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And then Keegan comes home.
Yeah, did you think she was going to make an appearance?
No, I thought she would be dead.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, or evil.
Dead or evil, one of the two, but not home, alive and well, and seemingly good.
Unfazed,
Unfazed, yeah.
Iris and Roman are engaged, and Iris is kind of like, oh, I want to get married, but it's wartime, and blah, 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 and there's this very clandestine scene, I guess, where she comes inside after gardening, and she noticed that Roman has showered. And because, they have 2 days to evacuate or something. Or like the next day, Dacre's forces are going to come. Something like that anyway. So she comes in and she notices at Roman's house. She's like, Roman, have you showered? And just, it's kind of passed off. And then Marisol says to Addie, oh, why don't you go and help Iris with that thing upstairs or whatever? So they go up and Addie's like, oh, you should have a shower. And then Addie does her hair and everything, puts flowers in her hair, puts pearls in her hair. And it's very beautiful. And then she takes Iris outside, and it's going to be their wedding.
Yeah. When Addie was like, let me do your hair or something like that, like that's when I knew obviously something beautiful was going to happen.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it was so cute. Love a wedding in a hurry. And yeah, the relationship completely warrants this because, wartime... Every day, we live every day like it'll be a last. They've already essentially fallen in love with each other over this period of time. And I loved how Roman was like, oh, I gotta ask Attie for permission because, you know, she's become Iris's closest friend and he's gotta ask Marisol because she's essentially become like this pseudo mother in a way, even though she's only 33 and there's the joke that she's super old, but she's giving off that old soul motherly vibe. And so we love that. Respectful king.
So their vows I pray that my days will be long at your side. Let me feel and satisfy every longing in your soul. May your hand be in mine by sun and by night. Let our breaths twine and our blood become one until our bones return to dust. Even then may I find your soul still sworn to mine. And then they have soup and bread for dinner, which, like, honestly goals. And then,
It's wartime cuisine.
yeah. What is it? What's the words when you...
Consummates.
Thank you. They consummate their marriage. And there was
I loved that scene.
The description was so beautiful and this is what I love about books like this, where love is innocent, and you know what, I'm over the cocks and I'm over the pussies and I don't need it.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It won't fit.
It won't fit. Hang on, I'm going to find where it is.
It wasn't over the top. It was tasteful. Show, don't tell. Tell, don't show, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautifully innocent is the best way to describe it, as you said, Kenzie. Because, yeah, it sets the tone or the precedent for this type of book. Like,
blooming into something luminous as they fully came together, tangled in the sheets. That's all
wonderful.
I need.
That is poetry.
She felt safe with him, skin to skin. She felt full and complete. She felt the wholeness in the dark, this weaving together of vows and bodies and choice.
Fucking beautiful. Love that.
Thank you, Rebecca Ross. Thank you.
This is refreshing.
Yes, I loved that. All right, everything is great. Everything is happy. We're having a great time.
May I quickly just say something?
Yes. No. Yes.
I wonder if all the modern authors are kind of at war with each other to make the best, like, male to female love declaration with their sweet and fluffy words. First we get Xaden's, and now we have this.
Yeah.
Who is next? The great Anthony Bridgerton spiel as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And it is not far enough.
Exactly. Like, these authors and writers are outdoing each other. I love to see it.
Yeah. First Bridgerton, I burn for you.
And no, the Queen Charlotte one.
Oh yes,
the TikTok, that one.
Yes, I love you.
Yeah, it's like something about the heaven and the stars. I will tell you where you are. Do you love me?
Yes, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, beautiful. All authors and writers are at war with each other. I love it.
Yes. Anyway, things are happy. Things are beautiful. Bodies are coming together. It's great. Happiness is fickle, and happiness will always be taken away from us.
Yes. Ain't that the truth? Jesus Christ. Can't have it too good for too long. Didn't even have time for round 2.
Oh yeah, they wanted to go for round 2 in the morning, but they didn't have time.
Oh, I didn't know that was it. I thought I just made a joke that they didn't have time for round 2 because it's wartime.
No, it's actually... Hang on, let me read you the passage again.
Oh, okay. Alright, I believe you.
If I could eat this book into my soul, I think I would be healed in a lot of ways.
If you could absorb it into your very being, the atoms that you possess.
She drew him up to his feet, the blankets falling away from his waist. He was perfect, she thought with a sharp inhale. Roman watched her study his body, his cheeks flushed, and when her gaze finally returned to his, he whispered, "Do we have time?" "I don't know, Kit." Oh. He nodded his disappointment, reaching for his jumpsuit.
Alright, cool. I loved how she was very careful of his leg as well.
Yes.
Very conscious of that, because she doesn't want to hurt him.
Yeah, baby. Alright, so they're starting to evacuate... Yeah, final act, part 3. Bullet holes and wounds. That's what I'm calling it, but it's not called that, but anyway. I'll tell you what it's called.
You may as well. You've been
it's
doing
easy
it
when I have the book in front of me.
Yeah, you don't have to fumble around.
Part 3, the words in between.
I suppose technically this includes the wedding, but still, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Dacre is coming!
Dacre has arrived. Dacre is...
Where is Forrest? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, also, so there's a moment that I don't know what they're doing stuff, helping people evacuate or whatever. They come back in and they realise that there's some, like, a jumpsuit is missing, a couple of the go bags are missing. It appears as though, someone has broken in.
It's an elusive boot print.
It is at this point that I fucking knew it was Forrest.
Yep, for sure.
Anyway, so they're helping people evacuate, and Iris and Addie and Roman choose to stay behind and help, even though they are not trained in any way, in any capacity. And you would think they'd be more of a hindrance.
Yeah, for sure. It's like when you question like war journalists or journalists in very deep political state countries and stuff. Like, are you just not in the way?
Yeah.
Or even like protest journalists. It's like
war photographers.
war photographers. Like, yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But good on them if they want to have that sense of heroism. Good for you. But even in like when they were in the trenches, when they were visiting the front line.
Yeah.
Like, they were in the way, like, their commanding officers were telling them to do X, Y, Z, you gotta do this, but they're like, but that's, like, out of my scope of practice. It's like, no, we need all hands on deck. So, yeah. So they're really traumatic from that experience as well, I guess. And now the same thing is happening.
Yeah, they're running away because, like, the attack has begun or whatever. And Iris spots an injured soldier, and she wants to go and help him. But there's this big theme of Roman, like, do not let go of my hand. I want your hand in mine forever. Blah blah. She lets go of his hand. Hoy boy. So I knew something was going to happen. And she goes to go and help the soldier, and then a wyvern drops a silver canister, which she assumes is going to be a bomb. But it expels this green gas, and she can't breathe. She's choking. She's trying to get to Roman. She's calling out Kit, and then someone with dark hair grabs her. They're wearing a gas mask. They give her a gas mask, and they're like, "Come this way." She thinks it's Roman.
They're also in the jumpsuit.
They're also in a jumpsuit. Oh yeah, they're in a jumpsuit, so she thinks it's Roman. And she says, his voice sounds weird, but it must just be muffled from the gas mask or whatever. And she's being taken away.
Where did he get a gas mask? She thought.
Yeah, and shouldn't we give these to the soldiers? Like, we should help them instead of just running away. No, we have to go. Iris, come with me. Blah blah blah. Important to note that Kit does not call her Iris. Anyway, and they're getting through the grass, and she looks behind. She sees that someone's running after her, and she realizes someone running after her is Roman.
Yeah, and she's like, who is this fella dragging me along?
Who is this guy? Is revealed to be Forrest.
We all knew. We've been new. Which is good. It's alright. It's not meant to be like one of those jump scare situations. It's like, it's wonderfully built up, and it's okay if you thought that way.
And she's like, no, we have to help Roman because he's struggling on his leg. It's like crawling after her.
Falling to the ground and crawling. Yeah. I love that. The struggle is real.
I love me a weak man. I love me I love an injured trope.
An injured, traumatized boy.
A weak man. Let the patriarchy suffer.
Bring back the weak kings.
Yeah. Bring back the sickly Victorian child dying of the plague.
But as our morally grave male love interest.
Yeah. Give me Timothée Chalamet.
If he's not dying by tuberculosis, I don't want it.
Have you watched Songbirds and Snakes yet?
No.
Okay, there's a funny tuberculosis joke in there. Anyway.
It's okay. You can say it.
No, you have to watch it. It's a visual element.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll tell you after.
Could you just not reenact it for me right now?
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
No spoilers. So it's Forrest. They've had to leave Roman behind.
It's like that tension struggle of like, is Iris gonna get to Roman, or is Roman gonna get to Iris? Clearly not.
No, they're not. They get away a little bit, and she's like, we have to go back, we have to see if he's still there, blah blah. So they go back, and the spot, she like realizes that he must have been crawling after her, and the spot where he was, there's like a circle around that spot, like a crop circle.
And obviously Iris is devastated because she's assuming that he's kind of dead almost.
So they go back to Oath, her and Forrest.
Forrest just like living his life, a deserter.
Yeah, and he used to work at like a herbologist's place or something. Anyway, and horologist. Yeah. Iris is like, oh, are you going to go get your job back there? And he's like, no, because I don't want the questions about like why I left the war. And I was thinking, yeah, anywhere you go though, wouldn't you be asked, like, you're a deserter?
Yeah, for sure. And this is where he reveals his situation and what
and on
to
the
him.
road, he starts bleeding from like injuries on his chest, and there's like an injury on his chest and like his kidneys and like somewhere else on his torso, 3 main wounds, and Iris realizes that he should be dead. Like, these are fatal wounds, and he says, he should be dead, like his whole platoon is dead.
So yeah, what happened was their platoon was attacked, which, as per one of the OG correspondence that Iris received, assuming that was the case, and it turned out Dacre had overran that area, and he came across Forrest, and he decided to make a deal. Essentially, Dacre will heal him so long as Forrest fights for him to the end of his days. And so obviously, Forrest took that deal, and who knows now what the magical consequence of that is, since he is deserted. Does that mean is there a link? Is Dacre able?
Is that why his wound started bleeding again?
Is Dacre able to retract that sort of magic? Dacre ultimately keeping him alive. Interesting questions. Have you come across any of that in the second book yet, Kenzie?
Yes and no.
Is Forrest slowly dying?
No, I've come across some things, but I think it's a proximity thing, but I don't think it's a death proximity thing. It's a different proximity thing.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Sometimes I also need little tidbits to get my ass into gear. I appreciate that though, Kenzie.
Okay.
And then that pretty much sums up the book. And then there's an epilogue, which is from Dacre's point of view.
Yes. I just want to read, the last, because they go back to the apartment or whatever, and this actually broke me so hard. So obviously Iris left in a rush, and then so when she gets back home, she goes back into her room. Slowly she took in her old room. The blankets on her bed were wrinkled. Books were strewn over her desk, which was draped with gossamer. Her wardrobe door was open, revealing a glimpse of the clothes she had left behind. And there on the floor was a piece of paper. Iris froze, staring at it. She had left it there, untouched. She had chosen not to read it months ago, fearing Carver would alter the course she was determined to take. She walked to the folded paper. She bent down and picked it up from the floor, carrying it to her bed. She set the candle aside, the light flickering around her. Iris stared at the paper, nearly holding it over the flame to burn. She didn't know if she was strong enough to open it. She worried it would break the last of her to read his words now. In the end, she couldn't resist. The paper unfolded like wings in her hand. His words met her like a blade. She bowed over them. Iris, it's me, Kit.
And she busted out crying.
I did.
Yeah. And then leading off from that Dacre point of view, Dacre found Roman, and he's like, you know what? Having a war correspondent might be a bit of fun.
There's a very interesting moment because he's like, oh, this mortal has 1 minute and 31 seconds until he dies or whatever. He could tell the time, so he's like, I'm going to shave him. And so, it's revealed that he was taken below, and that's what the ring was around him.
Yeah, again, having a war correspondent will be interesting. I love that aspect of Dacre because, coming from a line of healing, he's obviously able to determine, he's like a death god in a way as well.
Yeah. With
that healing element.
Yeah. Do you think there are any consequences to the healing?
I don't know. Although I have not started reading the second book, I do know that the first chapter in the second book is an Enver point of view. So now we're going to have a full overall look at what these two gods are thinking and feeling. I also loved the quick history on the other three gods as well, because these are the 5 main gods that were overrun by the humans, and obviously Enver and Dacre have arisen for whatever reasons, and obviously are at war with each other, blah blah blah. And I liked how their days of the week, which is essentially 5 days, is named after these 5 gods as well.
Because there was one that was the eve of Enver Day.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I just thought it was so cool, those fun elements. And as the gods were imprisoned, I liked how it explained all the enchanted magic and enchanted artifacts and enchanted buildings. That's caused just by the gods being imprisoned and their magic just seeping because it just needs something to do. So why not enchant something? Yeah,
there was little tidbits. There was a cafe, and you would order a pot of tea or whatever, and the pot of tea would never go cold because it was infused by a magic ley line.
Yeah, and I think there was just a grocery store which was enchanted to see the items that you can afford. And Roman's house was entirely enchanted, but it would listen to his almost commands. He'd ask a lamp to turn on and the lamp would turn on. Or the house was more of a comfort to him, they would bow to his whim.
Yeah.
In a respectful manner. Not that he is demanding or commanding. It's because they want to do it. It wants to work for him. But I love this book. Jesus. It's great.
Yes.
Can't wait to start the second one. I have a confession, Kenzie.
Yes.
When you were messaging me all those things about being excited and being like about Forrest, and I was, playing along with you. I had
Yeah.
only read 20% at that point.
Oh my god! When I was like, is there smart in this book as well? I thought you were way ahead of me.
No.
This is because when I give you leeway, you take the leeway.
No, I take it, and I don't know why. I am the way I am, whatever.
Yes.
And then I finished reading it that night, essentially. I stayed up till like 1 a.m. Because I'm going to be like, what's Kenzie on about?
Oh my god.
But now you're just flying through the second book.
Yes.
No, I just loved having that power, even though it wasn't true.
Jesus Christ. You played it
Alrighty.
well. You played it well.
Good. It's very easy in Messenger. In real life, I'd be fidgety. Like,
Yeah.
you could probably tell. I'd probably be like, Kenzie, I'm not even up to that point yet. I was going to be a smartass and be like, you have inadvertently spoiled me. But no, it's all good. Shall we go to the stars that listen?
We shall go to the stars that listened.
Perfect. So the stars that listen is just a little segment where we read a 1-star and a 5-star review from Goodreads. Just for some shits and gigs, we start off with the 1-star because the 5 stars are normally popping and they're full of positivity.
Yes, I have arguments as well, so.
I have a few.
Yeah.
1-star and 5-star just because they're funny.
Yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
There's one screenshot that has 2.
Okay.
So, my first 1-star review is betrayed by Book Talk once again. Little harsh. And then within the same screenshot, war, non-existent. Gods, non-existent. Character depth, non-existent. World building, non-existent. Romance, yikes. Dialogue, bigger yikes. Seriously question if I read the same book.
This is probably the people, though, who read Haunting of Adeline and think it's the best thing ever.
Okay, sure. And another 1-star review. She writes letters like I did when I was heartbroken at 13 over my Minecraft boyfriend.
That's all that.
It's so funny because it's stupid, and then that's it.
I have world building, ? Don't know her. Here's my argument.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about the world building. I know enough. I know that there's Oath. I know there's Avalon Bluff. I know there's a couple other little villages going on. I know that there's gods. Right? That's fine. I don't want to get slogged down in the details. I want the story. I want it pace for me, fast enough for me to pay attention, but slow enough to give me the details that I need. Let me not get bogged down by having to read 5 chapters in a book by someone named Jera K. Slass.
Kenzie.
Which I still love those books anyway, but let me not get slogged down in that with the world building.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah. We know the gods are all buried north, east, south, west. They all have a day named after him.
Exactly. There's
easy.
magic. Exactly. I also have, nah, I'm done. You all lied to me. And then they get married the second they learn each other's middle names. There is also another one that I saw, and I need to quickly do a fact check before I argue, because I might be wrong.
Kenzie? Wrong? Never.
False.
In Kenzie, I trust. False. Yeah, false.
Okay, so someone goes, in one sentence they're talking about typewriters, and then in the other one he says he likes summer because that's when baseball comes back. Alright, let us believe we're in the assumption that this is taking place in 1915-ish, 1914, whatever. Okay? Baseball was invented in 1839, so you can suck my ass.
I love that. See, I was also Googling before I started, what era, typewriters were and, steam trams and stuff, because it was giving 1930s, but then if they're saying war, then... But I suppose it could just be a First World War of sorts in this, alternate universe. It doesn't have to be a complete allegory of World War One, even though the gas and the trenches itself gives off that.
Yeah. Alright, go to your 5s.
Alright, I have a few 5 stars as well. Alexa, play The Great War by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Loved it. Another 5-star. Did I finish the book, or did the book finish me?
Oh my god, I had that. I had that twice.
Oh, really? And then another 5-star was, I just fell to my fucking knees and I'm not getting up anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those were my 5 stars as well, so...
Oh, yeah. In this screenshot, there's a half a review. One of the sentences is there is a war between gods going on in this 1930s London, maybe urban fantasy setting. And that's the best way to describe it, I would say.
Yeah.
The era.
Yeah.
Regardless of the war.
Yeah.
War happened in 1930s as well. I'm sure trenches were also still used. And gas, of course.
Anyway, what a bloody brilliant book. 2 in a row for 2024.
We're winning. Don't know what we are striving for, but we're winning.
I'm striving for not as many DNFs this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good goal.
Yeah,
Yep,
not as
love
many
that.
qualms.
I mean, qualms are natural because, like, it could just be really a you thing and like.
Oh,
your
as soon as a
nitpickiness.
book uses the word cock or pussy, I'm out.
Well, then you better not read Hofast then,
Yeah.
because no doubt it's going to be full of cock and pussy.
Yeah, full disclosure, this will come out after, well, like around that same time, won't it? Anyway, there has been a Hofast leak, everybody, and I have seen some things. Nothing, I've only seen, like, snippets of the start. I haven't seen anything about the end, so.
Yeah. We'll address that perhaps in part with Joseph.
Anyway, thank you all for listening once again. Join us next week for Ruthless Vows.
Sure, yeah, you said it.
Yep. That's locked in.
It's locked in. I think we're just fucking off fanfic February, and that's fine. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would have assumed after, but we can go straight to the second one.
Join us next week for something else.
We'll do Ruthless Vows.
We have to do fanfic February. That's fun.
It'll be fine.
Right.
Thanks for listening. Check us out on the socials. Instagram, TikTok, links in the bio to find us in all the listening places. Yeah, catch us next week for Ruthless Vows, or after, whichever we decide. And hope everyone enjoyed this book. Like, comment, subscribe on the socials.
Yes.
We'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. DM us if you wish.
I promise I won't fight you in real life.
No. You can give a valid 1-star review, and she'll just be twitching and fidgeting the whole day, but she'll be fine.
Yeah,
She'll swallow her pride.
exactly.
No, but yeah, honestly, it is so funny how we get defensive over the 1-stars of the books that we like, but with the books that we hate, we're like, we agree.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, this was shit.
Yeah.
Looking forward to what Ruthless Vows has to offer. And then there's a third one as well, I think.
It's a duology.
I swear we saw in the January articles or book releases for this year, there is
Bro.
a third one.
Sunday
I know it said duology. I know it said duology. I know it said duology. I swear to God, there's a third one though. I swear to God.
I'll Google it quickly.
If I'm wrong, you can shove that false mug in my face.
2 books.
Okay. Then there must be another Rebecca Ross book being released
Yeah,
next
there's
year. 'Cause I
heaps.
swear. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
there's
I may have
heaps.
gotten a little mixed up. I apologise.
How dare you?
You need to tell me that word that I get really butthurt by.
You fool!
Yeah. It hurts. It cuts deep.
I think idiot is more than you idiot.
I like saying moron. You fucking moron. Alright, thanks for listening. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.